Hello everybody. Today we will discuss a entirely different scenario. Is diabetes a surgical disease? If you type this on Google, you get at least a million references. So diabetes probably one of the most concerned health condition affecting millions of people worldwide. Across the globe, the situation is alarming. International Diabetic Federation estimates nearly 592 million diabetics by 2035 AD. Indian scenario in 2000, India topped the world by 31 million diabetics. By 2030, there will be 79 million diabetics estimated to top the world by to 2030. So the economic burden of the diabetes is tremendous, and how the patients they pay this diabetic treatment. There is direct cost and the indirect cost to the patient and to the nation. The cost complications of diabetes. The diabetes ultimately goes in for myocardial infarction, ischemic heart disease, excess inpatient days, kidney failure, neuropathy, stroke, foot ulcers and amputations, and other conditions such as dyslipidemia, erectile dysfunctions, ketoacidosis, depression, gastrointestinal problems, diabetic medicines by the outpatients, the hypoglycemia, hyperglycemia, and retinopathies. So all these things they count for the pocket and to the wallet of the patient. So how this particular patient does these all expenses? So mostly from the personal savings, he borrows from the others for the treatment of diabetes. He keeps mortgage. Then there are company reimbursement which is less than 12%. He has to sell the property, and medical insurances gives only 7% of the financial protection to these patients. This is the worldwide data. The drug prices are continuously rising. The cost of various drugs, they are increasing by almost 300% now. So putting off care because of the cost, these patients they don't go in for the treatment and they shun from the treatment. The percentage who says they or other family members living in their household have done each of the following in 12 months because of the cause. This is the study. The patients they rallied on the home treatment of the diabetes, almost 33%. They skipped dental care and the checkups, almost 31%. They put off or postponed getting health care needed, 28%. They don't follow the prescriptions given by the doctors. They skip recommended medical tests also, and usually the patients they take half of the medicines prescribed and had problems getting mental health care. So there is tremendous morbidity to the overall general population of the diabetics because of the disease. Almost half of those with coverage report problems with the health plan. The various health plans by the insurance system they say that your plan is not covering a particular treatment or kind of care you needed. Misunderstanding over the health services your plan covers. The billing or payment for the services is haphazard and not as promised. The patients are being denied care or treatment by the plan. There are delays in receiving the care or treatment, and something else not mentioned above is one of the cause. So ultimately, all said and done, the patient, they skip the treatment or they don't get the treatment properly, and there are various side effects. Those who take the medicines, they get various side effects associated with the diabetic medications also. So the diabetes disease itself is having many complications, and the drugs are also having many side effects such as pancreatitis, malignancies, renal problems, gallbladder problems, infections, and joint pains. The oral antidiabetics linked with the increased risk of bladder cancer. This is the reference. The sitagliptin is an oral medication manufactured by the company. The drug was approved by US Food and Drug Administration in 2006 and is one of the most popular type 2 drug, proved to be effective in controlling blood sugar levels. However, there are also reports of serious side effects including pancreatitis, pancreatic cancer and thyroid cancers, which causes the Januvia users to file lawsuits against Merck. And the diabetes, in spite of the treatment, goes on continuing, it progresses. So the physician first, they give advice of drug and exercise, diet and exercise, then monotherapy, dual therapy, triple therapy, then combination of the injectable therapies. So what is the remedy then? The type 2 diabetes, is it a surgical disease? The prevalence of obesity and diabetic mellitus is rising and strongly linked to diabetic mellitus with accompanying insulin resistance. Impaired insulin secretion and insulin resistance are both the causative factors in the development of type 2 DM. Amelioration of type 2 diabetes is proven outcome of the surgical treatment of the obesity. Historically, diabetic remission has been reported before the advent of the bariatric surgery. In 1955, Friedman reported 3 patients with diabetes who had poor glycemic control despite therapy with high daily doses of insulin. 3 to 4 days after subtotal gastrectomy, all 3 patients showed an improvement in their diabetic status. And this observation occurred sooner than associated weight loss. So it was not necessary that patient needed weight loss to control the diabetes. And more importantly, these patients later regained their weight without an associated loss of glucose control or glycosuria. Bittner also reported amelioration of the diabetes with the lowered plasma glucose and insulin after subtotal gastrectomy and gastrointestinal reconstruction that excluded duodenal passage. So in conclusion, the plasma glucose and insulin fall rapidly and the anti-diabetic medications can be reduced or stopped shortly after gastrointestinal bypass interventions. The surgical treatment regardless of their BMI, so that came the thought that not necessarily the obese patient they should undergo the metabolic surgery, but the non-obese patient should also go in for the metabolic surgery. The current indication for the bariatric surgery includes BMI equal to or more than 35 kg per meter square or between 30 to 35.5 kg per meter square with obesity related comorbidities. All bariatric operations are performed based on these specific criteria. Therefore, the anti-diabetic effects of bypass surgery is well documented in this population of severely or morbid obese patients. These procedures occasionally performed in non-obese individuals. Mingron et al. Reported a case of BPD for non-obese female patient with chylomicronemia whose plasma insulin and blood glucose levels were normalized within 3 months. Noya et al. Reported remission of type 2 DM in 9 out of 10 moderately obese patients with mean BMI 33 who underwent biliopancreatic diversion. So this is the principle how this anticretin factor and incretins, they play a role in the management of the diabetes and stimulation of the insulin. So if the duodenum is bypassed and the proximal jejunum is bypassed, then the insulin surge is not there and effectively the diabetes status improves. So bariatric surgery and remissions have been reported to improve the type 2 DM and was shown to be superior to medical intervention. The bariatric surgery can induce the significant and sustainable remission and improvement in type 2 diabetes and other metabolic risk factors in severely obese patients. Surgical interventions within 5 years of diagnosis is associated with high rate of long-term remission. So the type 2 diabetic remission with bariatric surgery versus control at 15 years in this SOS study by the Swedish people. So this also indicates that the bariatric surgery or the metabolic surgery has the upper hand over the medical management of the diabetes. Then there is a decreased incidence of type 2 diabetes complications with the bariatric surgery versus the control population. That means the microvascular and the macrovascular complications seen in the patients of diabetes, if they undergo the metabolic surgery or bariatric surgery, these changes are reversed or delayed. This was shown by the famous SOS study. So can we predict diabetic remission after metabolic surgery? Yes, this is the ABCD formula where age, BMI, C-peptide levels and duration of the diabetes is taken care of. The pointing is done from 0 to 3, and if the score is less than ABCD score is less than 2, C-peptide is less than 3 and duration is around 8 years, then the patient, they should not undergo the surgery for the diabetes control. So which procedure they should undergo? The meta-analysis and randomized control trials, they have shown that RYGB is better than sleeve gastrectomy in diabetic control. The 6 randomized control trials with 353 patients, they have shown most BMI more than 35, quality of evidence was low, but no conclusion was better. So the International Diabetic Federation suggested it is cost effective, though there is a risk of surgery, but 30-day mortality is 0.1 to 0.3 and that is similar to the laparoscopic cholecystectomy. So the mortality of the surgery, which is major surgery, and the mortality of the cholecystectomy is almost similar. The morbidity is staple line leak found in 3%, wound infection in 2.3%, pulmonary event in 2% and hemorrhage in 1.7%. So in conclusion, the International Conference on Gastrointestinal Surgery to Treat Type 2 DM 2008, the treat diabetes in carefully selected patients, reasonable treatment option for patients with poorly controlled diabetes and a body mass index of more than or equal to 30, and investigations on mechanism of surgical control and diabetes are strongly encouraging this hypothesis. Thank you very much.